My girlfriend called me her practice husband on TikTok and I walked away humiliated. I left the barbecue, ended the relationship, took back my house and my future, but she and the internet had one more shock for me. If this story pulled you in, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. I, 32M, had been dating Alexis, 29F, for 3 years. I thought we were perfect together. We rarely fought, had similar interests, and mostly aligned on major life decisions. Marriage and kids were topics we discussed seriously, and I believed we were on the same page. I loved her family, and I thought they loved me too. Her sister, Maddie, 27F, was probably the closest to me. We had a great rapport, shared the same dry sense of humor, and she'd often joke that I was the brother she never had. Alexis and I had been living together for almost 2 years in a house I bought just before we met. I'd saved for years to afford it, working overtime and sacrificing vacations to build equity instead of throwing money away on rent. I was proud of my little 3-bedroom ranch-style home in a quiet suburb. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine, and I poured my heart into making it a place where we could build a life together. I'm a civil engineer, which means I'm practical to a fault and plan everything meticulously. Alexis works in social media marketing, managing accounts for local businesses. She's creative, spontaneous, and honestly a bit more image-conscious than I am. She's always had a decent following on Instagram and TikTok, posting lifestyle content and relationship stuff, but I never paid much attention to it. That was her world, and I was happy to stay out of the frame. Our relationship wasn't perfect. Whose is? But I truly believed we were solid. I'd been planning to propose for months, had saved up for a ring that cost me 3 months' salary, and was just waiting for the right moment. I decided our annual family barbecue at my parents' place would be perfect. Both our families would be there. The setting was beautiful, and it felt right to propose in a place filled with so much love and history. It was a gorgeous Saturday in June. My parents' backyard was decorated with string lights. The weather was perfect, and about 30 of our closest friends and family members were gathered for our annual summer barbecue. As per tradition, I was manning the grill, cooking up burgers and steaks for everyone. I felt the ring box in my pocket every few minutes, making sure it was still there, rehearsing what I would say when I got down on one knee. Later that evening, Alexis was bouncing around between groups, laughing and talking with everyone. She seemed happy, which made me happy. I noticed she was on her phone a lot, but that wasn't unusual. She was constantly posting stories and checking her socials. I didn't think anything of it. My cousin Jay came over to the grill to grab a beer from the cooler and hang out with me for a bit. "Dude, have you seen Alexis's latest TikTok?" he asked, looking uncomfortable. "No, why?" He hesitated. "Maybe you should check it out." I shrugged it off at first, focused on not burning the food, but something in his tone made me uneasy. About 15 minutes later, I handed off grill duty to my dad and pulled out my phone. I rarely use TikTok, but I had the app so I could occasionally see what Alexis posted. I opened it and went to her profile. The most recent video had been posted 45 minutes ago and already had hundreds of comments. The video showed Alexis with a group of her friends doing some dance trend I didn't recognize, but it was the caption that felt like a punch to the gut. "Girls' day out while my practice husband mans the grill. Relationship practice around first marriage." I stood there frozen as I scrolled through the comments. "He's giving tester run vibes. FRRR first husband syndrome. LM woo girl. You better upgrade for husband number 2, at least you're honest about it." Her friends from the video had jumped into the comments, adding fuel to the fire. "The starter husband doesn't even know training wheels before the real thing. Imagine thinking you're in game when you're just the tutorial." Skull emoji. I felt sick. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone. I looked up and scanned the yard until I found Alexis. She was sitting with her 2 best friends, the same ones from the video, all of them laughing and looking at her phone. She hadn't even noticed that I'd seen it. In that moment, everything I thought I knew about our relationship crumbled. 3 years of memories flashed through my mind, but now they were tainted with doubt. Was I really just a stepping stone to her? A practice round before she found someone better? I looked around at our families mingling together, laughing and enjoying themselves. My mom was showing Alexis's mom pictures from our recent vacation. My dad and her dad were arguing good-naturedly about sports. Everyone thought we were this perfect couple heading toward marriage. Everyone except Alexis, apparently. I reached into my pocket and felt the velvet ring box. I'd spent months picking out the perfect diamond, had it set in a custom design she'd once pointed out in a magazine. I'd planned to propose during sunset with both our families present. I had a whole speech prepared about building a life together. What a joke. I put down my tongs, wiped my hands on a towel, and placed the ring box on the small table next to the grill. I didn't say a word to anyone. I just walked to my car, got in, and drove away. My phone started blowing up about 10 minutes later, but I turned it off. I needed to think. I checked into a hotel that night. I couldn't face going back to my house knowing she might be there. The next morning, I turned my phone back on to find 27 missed calls and dozens of text messages. Most were from Alexis. Where did you go? Why did you leave without saying anything? Please call me back. I'm worried about you. Are you seriously this upset over a stupid TikTok? It was just a joke. You're overreacting. Everyone is asking where you went. You're embarrassing me. That last one was the kicker. I was embarrassing her. There were also messages from my parents and a few close friends asking if I was okay, and one from Maddie, Alexis's sister. I saw the video. I'm so sorry, Ryan. That was cruel and you didn't deserve it. Let me know if you need anything. I responded only to my parents and Maddie, letting them know I was safe but needed some time alone. To Alexis, I sent a single message. I'll be by to get some of my things tomorrow at 2. Please make sure you're not there. She responded immediately. Are you serious right now? You're moving out over a joke. Ryan, you're blowing this way out of proportion. We need to talk about this face to face. You can't just throw away 3 years over something so stupid. I didn't respond. What was there to say? In one careless moment, she had revealed what she really thought of me, of us, or maybe it wasn't careless at all. Maybe she wanted me to see it. The next day, I went to the house when I knew she'd be at work. I packed enough clothes for a week, my laptop, and some essential documents. As I was leaving, I noticed a framed photo of us from a vacation to Maine last year. We looked so happy, so in love. I put it face down on the table and left. I extended my hotel stay and started looking for a short-term rental. I needed space to figure out what to do next. My boss was understanding when I requested a week off, and I spent most of that time just driving around, hiking in nearby state parks, and trying to clear my head. Alexis continued to blow up my phone, her messages oscillating between anger and pleading. You're being childish. Please come home so we can talk about this. I miss you. I can't believe you're doing this to me. It was a joke. Why are you punishing me like this? After a few days, her sister Maddie reached out again. Hey, I know you probably don't want to hear about Alexis right now, but I thought you should know she's been telling everyone you're just having a tantrum and will be back soon. She's not taking this seriously. Just wanted to give you a heads up. That was the push I needed. I called a real estate attorney that same day and made an appointment to discuss my options. Since the house was solely in my name and we weren't married, I had the right to ask her to move out. The attorney drafted a formal notice giving her 30 days to vacate the premises as required by law. I decided to deliver it in person. I wanted to see her face when she realized this wasn't a tantrum. This was me taking back control of my life. When I arrived at the house, Alexis's car was in the driveway along with another I didn't recognize. I knocked on my own front door, feeling like a stranger. Alexis opened it, her expression quickly shifting from surprise to relief. Ryan, finally, I was so worried. She moved to hug me, but I stepped back and held out the envelope. What's this? She asked, her smile faltering. Notice to vacate the premises within 30 days. Her face fell. You can't be serious. I've never been more serious about anything in my life. Over a stupid TikTok. You're throwing away everything we built because of a joke. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. A joke, is that what you think it was? Because it seemed pretty accurate to me. Your practice husband, the test run. Were you ever planning to tell me that's how you saw me? Or was I supposed to figure it out after the divorce? Ryan, come on, it was just content for my followers. It doesn't mean anything. If it doesn't mean anything, why say it? Why humiliate me in front of everyone we know? Before she could answer, a woman appeared behind her, one of the friends from the video. She looked between us awkwardly. Should I go? She asked Alexis. No, stay, I said. I'm just dropping this off. I'll be sending movers for the rest of my things next week. Anything that's jointly owned, we can discuss through my attorney. Alexis's expression hardened. You're getting a lawyer, are you kidding me? I'm not discussing this further, you have 30 days. I turned to leave. Ryan, wait, she grabbed my arm. It was a stupid mistake, I wasn't thinking. Please, let's just talk about this. I gently removed her hand. There's nothing to talk about. You showed me who you really are and I believe you. What about the ring? She blurted out. My mom said there was a ring box by the grill. Were you going to propose? The pain in her voice almost got to me. Almost? Yes, I said quietly. I was funny how things work out, isn't it? I walked away as she called after me, her voice breaking. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done, but I didn't look back. I found a month-to-month furnished apartment about 20 minutes away from my office and moved in the next day. I hired movers to pack up most of my belongings from the house, leaving only the furniture and kitchen items Alexis would need until she found her own place. News traveled fast in our social circle. My phone was flooded with messages from mutual friends, most taking her side. "Don't you think you're overreacting? Everyone says stupid things on social media. She's devastated. Man, it was just a joke that landed badly." A few, however, understood. "I saw that video before it got deleted." "You deserve better. No one should talk about their partner that way if she said that publicly. Imagine what she says in private." My parents were firmly in my corner. My mom came to help me set up my new apartment, bringing home cooked meals and trying not to cry when she thought I wasn't looking. My dad, a man of few words, just clapped me on the shoulder and said, "You did the right thing, son. Don't doubt yourself." Alexis's family was more divided. Her parents reached out to express their shock and disappointment, though it wasn't clear whether the disappointment was directed at her or me. Her brother, who I'd never been particularly close with, sent a curt message saying I should have talked things out like an adult instead of running away. Maddie, however, continued to be my unexpected ally. She texted me regularly with updates. Alexis finally moved most of her stuff to a friend's place. Mom and Dad had a long talk with her about respect and relationships. She took down all her social accounts after the backlash. Apparently, after I left, someone at the barbecue, I suspect my cousin Jake, had commented on her TikTok with something like, "You know, he was going to propose tonight, right?" The comment went viral, and suddenly Alexis was facing a wave of criticism from strangers on the internet. She deleted the video within hours, but screenshots had already been taken and shared widely. I didn't take any pleasure in her public humiliation. Despite everything, I had loved her deeply, and a part of me still cared about her well-being, but I wouldn't be her practice husband. 2 weeks after moving out, I was starting to find my footing again. I threw myself into work, picked up old hobbies I'd neglected, and even joined a rock climbing gym to burn off excess energy. I was nowhere near ready to date again, but I was slowly rebuilding my sense of self. That's when Maddie texted me. She cries every time someone brings up your name and is begging for you to come back. "I'm worried about her, Ryan. She's not eating, barely sleeping. She says she didn't mean any of it and would do anything to fix this." It was the first time I felt my resolve weaken. I still loved Alexis despite everything. The thought of her suffering tore at me, but then I remembered the comments from her friends, the casual cruelty, the public humiliation. If I went back now, what would that say about my self-respect? I responded to Maddie. "I'm sorry she's hurting. I am too, but I can't be with someone who sees me as temporary." Maddie replied, "I understand. For what it's worth, I think she's genuinely sorry." She told me she only said that stuff because her friends pressured her to make more relatable content about relationship doubts. Apparently it gets more engagement. Not that that excuses it. That made me even angrier. She had traded our relationship for likes and comments, but I kept that to myself and just thanked Maddie for letting me know. The next day, a package arrived at my apartment. Inside was the ring box I'd left at the barbecue along with a handwritten letter from Alexis. I almost threw it away unopened, but curiosity got the better of me. The letter was tear-stained and several pages long. She explained that her friends had been pressuring her to create more authentic content about relationship struggles, that she'd been feeling insecure because so many of her friends were getting engaged or married, that she'd said those things to seem cool and detached, but didn't mean any of it. She swore she'd never thought of me as temporary or practice, that she'd wanted to marry me more than anything, that she'd ruined the best thing in her life for fleeting internet validation. It was a good letter, a sincere letter. If I'd received it a week earlier, I might have been swayed, but something about it still felt off. There was too much focus on her feelings, her pain, her regrets, very little acknowledgement of how deeply she had hurt me. I put the letter in a drawer and tried to forget about it. 3 days later, my doorbell rang around 8:00 p.m. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened the door, Alexis was standing there, eyes red from crying, holding a small gift bag. "Please don't close the door," she said quickly. "I just need 5 minutes, then I'll leave you alone forever if that's what you want." Against my better judgment, I let her in. She looked terrible. Hair unwashed, wearing sweats, dark circles under her eyes. Despite everything, my heart itched at the sight. "What do you want, Alexis?" She handed me the gift bag. "I wanted to give you this and to apologize in person. Inside the bag was a framed collage of photos of us along with screenshots of all her social media accounts being permanently deleted. "I'm done with all of it," she said. "The constant posting, the performing for strangers, all of it. It's cost me the only thing that really matters." She started crying again, and I had to fight the urge to comfort her. "What I said was unforgivable," she continued. "I know that. I can't even explain why I did it because it makes no sense. You were never my practice anything. You were the love of my life, the only person I've ever imagined growing old with." She took a deep breath. "I'm not asking you to take me back. I don't deserve that. I just needed you to know that I will regret what I did for the rest of my life and that you were always more than enough." She turned to leave but paused at the door. "Oh, and I signed the house entirely over to you. My name was never on the deed, but I had my lawyer draw up papers confirming I make no claim to any part of it. It was always your dream home. I wouldn't take that from you." With that, she left. I stood in my apartment holding the collage, feeling completely lost. The decision. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying our relationship in my mind, trying to see if there were signs I'd missed. Had she always seen me as temporary? Was the tick-tock just a momentary lapse in judgment or a glimpse at her true feelings? I called the one person I knew would give me honest advice, my older sister, Kate. After explaining everything, I asked her what she thought I should do. "Do you still love her?" Kate asked. "Yes," I admitted, "but I don't know if I can trust her again." "Trust can be rebuilt," she said carefully, "but only if both people are committed to the work. The question is, do you want to try?" I didn't have an answer. The next day, I received another text from Maddie. "Alexis just accepted a job offer in Seattle. She's moving next month. She says she can't stay here with all the memories. I thought you should know. Seattle across the country." The finality of it hit me hard. This wasn't a temporary breakup. It was the end of us. And despite all my anger and hurt, I wasn't sure I was ready for that. I spent the next few days in a fog, going through the motions at work, coming home to my empty apartment, staring at the collage Alexis had given me. On Friday night, I found myself driving to our favorite restaurant, a little Italian place where we'd had our first date. I sat at our usual table, ordered our usual bottle of wine, and tried to imagine my life without her in it. As I was leaving, I ran into Alexis's boss, Monica. She greeted me warmly, then looked confused. "I thought you'd be home celebrating with Alexis," she said. "Celebrating what?" "Her promotion. We finally gave her that senior position she's been angling for, more money, more creative control. She's been campaigning for it for months." My blood ran cold. "When did she get this promotion?" Monica thought for a moment. "The offer was made official about a month ago, but she's known it was coming since spring." "She didn't tell you a month ago? Before the barbecue, before the tick-tock, before she ruined everything?" I thanked Monica and left quickly, my mind racing. On the drive home, pieces started falling into place. The promotion Alexis had apparently been angling for would keep her here, not send her to Seattle. She'd lied to her sister about moving, knowing Maddie would tell me. It was manipulation, pure and simple. When I got home, I searched Alexis on Instagram using a friend's account. Her profiles hadn't been deleted at all. They'd just been set to private. The screenshots she'd given me were fake, another lie. I felt a strange sense of calm wash over me. All the uncertainty vanished. I knew exactly what I needed to do. The next morning, I called Maddie and asked to meet for coffee. She seemed nervous when she arrived, avoiding eye contact. "Did you know?" I asked without preamble. She looked down at her hands. "Know what? That Alexis isn't moving to Seattle, that her social media accounts aren't really deleted, that this whole heartbroken act is just that, an act." Maddie's face crumpled. "I'm so sorry, Ryan. She's my sister. She begged me to help her. She said she'd made a terrible mistake and just needed a chance to explain." I didn't know about the fake screenshots or the Seattle lie until after. I wasn't even angry anymore, just tired. "Why tell me now? Why not keep playing along?" "Because you deserve better," she said simply. "And because I realized I was helping her manipulate you, which makes me just as bad as she is." I thanked her for her honesty and left. On the drive home, I made one short call to Alexis. "I know about the promotion. I know about the fake screenshots. I know about Seattle. Don't contact me again." I blocked her number before she could respond. That afternoon, I hired a contractor to begin renovations on my house. New paint, new floors, a complete remodel of the kitchen Alexis had always complained about. I erased every trace of her from my home and my life. I returned the engagement ring and used the money to book a solo trip to Europe, something I'd always wanted to do but had put off because Alexis wasn't interested. I spent 3 weeks hiking in the Alps, eating my way through Italy and rediscovering who I was outside of our relationship. When I returned, Tanned and more at peace than I'd been in months, there was one final letter from Alexis waiting for me. Unlike the others, this one was full of anger and blame. I was cold and unforgiving. I had humiliated her by leaving the barbecue. I had never really loved her if I could walk away so easily. She was better off without me and my fragile male ego. I laughed as I read it, relieved to finally see her true colors without the filter of my love. I shredded the letter without responding and went back to living my life. It's been almost exactly a year since the barbecue incident. I'm still in my house now, beautifully renovated to my taste. I've been promoted at work, expanded my social circle, and even started casually dating again, though nothing serious yet. Alexis moved away after all, though to Chicago, not Seattle. According to Maddie, who I've remained friendly with, Alexis is dating someone new, a guy with a large social media following who frequently features in her posts. She seems happy, and I genuinely hope she is. As for me, I've learned a valuable lesson about seeing people for who they really are, not who you want them to be. I ignored red flags because I was in love, because I had a plan, because I thought I knew what our future held. Sometimes the most painful lessons are the most important ones. I'm grateful I found out what Alexis really thought of me before I put that ring on her finger, before we had a mortgage together, before we had kids. The pain of our breakup, as terrible as it was, pales in comparison to what a divorce would have been. Last week, I was cleaning out my home office and found the gift bag Alexis had given me with the photo collage. I had shoved it in a drawer and forgotten about it. I looked at our smiling faces at the memories of a relationship I once thought was perfect and felt nothing but gratitude, not for the relationship, but for its end. I threw the collage away and went outside to grill in my newly landscaped backyard, a cold beer in hand, at peace with my decision and excited for whatever comes next. Edit, wow, this blew up overnight. Thanks for all the supportive comments. To answer some common questions, 1, yes, I kept the house. It was always solely in my name, and she moved out without a legal fight. 2, no, I haven't been in contact with Alexa since that final phone call. Complete no contact has been the healthiest choice for me. 3, for those asking about the ring, it was a 1.5-carat oval diamond in a vintage-style setting. I got about 80% of what I paid for it back, which funded most of my Europe trip. 4, many have asked if I'm still friends with Maddie. We occasionally grab coffee, but we've naturally drifted apart. No bad feelings, just the natural consequence of the situation. 5.